Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the, I want to say penultimate Grand Prix of the season here on F124. It's the final sprint of the year. It is indeed the penultimate race of the season. We got a victory last time out in Las Vegas. Again, perhaps slightly fortuitous to have gotten it. We don't care. So, Qatar, we're looking to win the sprint and win the main Grand Prix again, just like we did last season as well. We will be tweaking the difficulty down to 103 for the sprint. And then if it's too easy, then we'll make it 104 again for the main Grand Prix. But we're still trying to find where our new level is since they tweaked the ultimate AI. So I think we're in the right place with 103 or 104. It might well depend on track. But ultimately, we're very happy with where we're racing right now and how we're racing. And hopefully we can get ourselves a decent performance here again in a track that I thoroughly enjoy driving on. So even if I finish 20th, I'll still very much enjoy myself. Join me in sprint qualifying after just a single practice session where really we don't need any resource points. We can't upgrade anything else. We can't protect anything else for the regulations, but I do need the data specifically from the race strategy program to know what the hell I'm doing in the Grand Prix strategically with pit stops and fuel. So drop the video a like, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the rest of this third season and the fourth season when it comes. You'll need to vote for where I go to in that fourth season, of course. And for now, it's time to go to Qatar. Haven't tweaked too much through practice. Car feels decent. Little bit loose at the rear end and the limit, but this setup won us the sprint and Grand Prix last year, so I'm hesitant to tweak it too much because we know that it works. Whether it works again a year later after more development from most of the other teams and a little bit more development by ourselves, we shall wait and see. But in Vegas we were all right, and hopefully here in Qatar we will be the same. Sprint qualifying under the lights, obviously, like I say, we're 103 for sprint and then 104 for the race is the plan. And then we'll have a good idea of where we need to be for Season 4 difficulty-wise and for the season finale in Abu Dhabi as well. Medium tyre, obviously, for sprint qualifying. Only allowed to use one set of medium tyres in SQ1, one set of medium tyres in SQ2, and one set of soft tyres in SQ3. So we'll go out at the end of the session and do one lap because we feel like we've got the pace to be able to get ourselves through to the third round of qualifying with just one run at the beginning. Oh, sorry, at the end of each session, I think. I hope, I pray, otherwise I'm in trouble. Right, first lap in SQ1 is good enough for... I think that might be pole. It is, but by how much? That's the question. By how much? Not much, I don't think. I think the others were in the 120s, weren't they? So we won't get carried away yet. Less than a tenth. We won't get carried away yet. But we're showing some decent pace around Qatar again, just as we did in Season 1. A little bit wide around the penultimate corner, but it's fine. Lando did a 120.5, we did a 120.6 in the first part of qualifying, but we know we made a mistake. It's a 20.1. A zip zip zoom. Okay. We'll see whether anyone else improved. We'll also see how things go on the soft tyre in SQ3, because that certainly is always something that takes a step up. A couple of tenths in it. Lando put in a 20.3. So we're still not running away with anything. And on the soft tyre, it will be different because I'm not as competitive on the soft tyre around Qatar. My tyre wear is very high on that compound. Okay, that feels good so far. Whether it's pole or not, I'm not sure, but that felt good. I need a 19.9 for pole. It's a 19.598, I think. Lando might have gone a little bit quicker. But that is certainly pole for us here in the sprint in Qatar. Don't know whether we got pole last year or not, actually. I am going to have to check that VOD. 3.5 tenths in the end to Lando Norris. That says to me that we need 104 at Qatar. I will do the sprint race on 103 just to be sure that race pace is good at 10, is not a hindrance, because there can certainly be a difference between my competitor, just for me as a driver. My competitiveness is definitely different between qualifying and race. So we'll see how the race goes. And after the sprint race, we will then put it up to I'm definitely going to put it up to 104 for Qatar, and then we'll figure it out for Abu Dhabi. But I think we might be 104 across the board, judging by that first sprint qualifying experience. But now let's go and see what it's like in the actual race. Here we go then. Parking it up at the very front.
Superb parking there, mate.
Thanks.
Let's make sure we get the edge on the surrounding drivers as the lights go out. Okay,
a strategy would help. That's what we did compared to everyone else, if possible. So expecting to hopefully be able to win this relatively straightforwardly and then up the difficulty for the race. That's my anticipation here. 19 laps of the Qatar Sprint Grand Prix is underway. Lot of wheel spin. A lot of wheel spin. Alonso's nabbed me. Here comes Russell. Norris is on the inside as well. I could go around the outside of Alonso though in one. He's given me racing room, but Alonso is through now. Leclerc is up to third. And Russell and Norris are battling it out for fourth and fifth. Okay, game on. Come on then, Fernando. What have you got, son? Let's see. Any chance of an overtake anywhere on the lap? Or is it a case of just waiting, biding my time, and then going for it into turn one at the end of the lap? Probably more likely that, I would have imagined. Just hang on to the back of him as he uses this battery. And then we can go again. Battery's maintaining itself very well as well at the minute. I might, once parc fermé conditions release themselves after the sprint aspect of the weekend, I might lower my harvesting percentage. So we might not need to harvest quite so much. We'll find out. We'll see if I get to the point, or get to any point in this race where I feel like I need, or I'm using all of the battery just to stay competitive, then obviously I'll leave it as is. Having to use a lot of battery here just to keep pace. But with DRS, when Fernando doesn't have it, that will be a simple overtake next lap. I'm happy enough so far that A, we think we're at the right difficulty level when we go back up to 104. Yellow flag behind. No, we're all right. No, there is a yellow flag behind. It's a Mercedes. One of the Mercedes is retiring. I think it might be George Russell. It's not going to do him any good later. I had a terrible final turn. See what the DRS does. And there's George Russell confirmed as out of the Grand Prix. DRS on Fernando with some battery too. Does get me alongside. And then a good turn one gets me in front. Now then, here's where we find out if we can extend that gap, get out of DRS range, or whether they're just going to stick with me for the whole Grand Prix. Or for the whole sprint race, should I say. George is over there on the right-hand side. Fernando is right up my arse. There is no way I don't lose first position here. Set the fastest lap of the race. Bink. But... oh, jeez Louise. Charles Leclerc, look at that! Oh, my God! I think Charles had more battery than Fernando, don't you? It's currently only a four-way fight here because those behind got held up by George retiring. But that was pretty ridiculous from Charles Leclerc. He had a... talk about overspeed. Bloody hell. It's like a torpedo. It's like Danny Kvyat from Russia back in the day. Right, let's use that battery. Charles takes the fastest lap. Charles now loses the lead. Need to be careful not to go into Alonso there. Charles drives into me and forces me off the track. That wasn't very teammatey of you, was it, Mr. Leclerc? Goodbye.
Okay,
more yellow flags behind. Not sure what for. Doesn't look like anyone's retiring. A bit of a battle on our hands here. It's a battle we're comfortably in. I'm still leaning towards upping to 104 for the full Grand Prix. Thank you for the 29 months, Ted. Appreciate it, dude. Right, Fernando, goodbye. Thank you. Right, this time can I put in a better lap and try and break DRS? Leclerc and Norris are fighting a little bit, so myself and Fernando could disappear if we have enough battery to do so, but it doesn't look like we do. Tyre weight is high. Yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. It's just going to be yo-yoing lap on lap, I think. I mean, it's entertaining for you guys to watch, I suppose. Constant action at the front. I am conscious of the fact that I'm not having to work that hard for it. I don't think if I go from 103 to 104, I don't think they just disappear down the road, do they? It's not going to make that much difference. But knowing that I could probably just get pole comfortably does make the decision a little bit more easily.
Okay, we're monitoring some wear on the internal combustion engine. Be aware that we're going to start to see a loss of power.
I've forgotten to take my bits out, hadn't I? I hadn't put fresh bits in. That's a reminder to do that for the main Grand Prix. So we will be down on top speed for the rest of this sprint race for the next 9 laps, which may well affect our capability to win this Grand Prix. Lando couldn't make up his mind which way to go. But that just says to me that once we've got fresh parts in the car, we'll be even more competitive at 104. I was on autopilot then. As we came into this section of the track, I had absolutely no idea where I was on circuit as I looked back after saying hello to Adi. Oh, okay. I have to drive with the rears in mind now. The rear left is getting hot, but that's probably because I keep oversteering. Thank you, Fernando. Try and keep that rear left from overheating now. I'll keep my temps up. Or be conscious of it for a lap or two. It seems to keep breaking traction around left-handers. Okay, Alonso's just... Did they start fighting? I just was concentrating on my driving, glanced back, and they lost some time. Did Alonso have a moment somewhere? No. I just appear to have opened up over a second's worth of gap without actually trying. That's weird. Might be tyre wear related. Might just be that I was concentrating so hard on my driving I didn't mess anything up. As you can see, 1.2 seconds now, 1.3. Fernando Alonso is going very slowly. He just lost 0.3 of a second. He might... Has he got front wing damage? Let's ask.
Alonso behind you now. They're on old mediums. The car behind has some damage to its front.
There you go.
But
that's
pace
why.
Is currently unaffected.
Pace is definitely affected.
1 minute 22.4.
Fernando might have gotten that damage to the front wing when I overtook him into turn 1 the lap before. He did understeer into me. Let's have a look at his front wing. He did understeer into me. Oh, yeah, the entire left end plate is gone. So as he understeered into me, he's broken his wing. And that's why he's just lost all of his pace around the high speed stuff. Charles Leclerc will probably close back up to within DRS range of me very quickly. It wasn't because I was concentrating and driving very well. It's because Alonso didn't have all of his car. So you can quite clearly tell from my papaya-coloured rearview mirror, my DRS gap has gone. Lando and Charles have caught me up again. But at the minute, comfortably keeping them behind. Right, I need to stay ahead here.
Final lap of the race.
Which I can't do because I'm not going to have another turn 1 opportunity to take the lead. So I am now going to have to try and take Lando Norris on this lap and overtake him somewhere on circuit. Otherwise it will be P2 only for me here in the sprint. And I don't know as I'm going to have the pace to do it. Or the tyres to do it. I think Lando Norris might just have won this sprint. But that's fine. I wasn't paying full attention. I should have tactically played it so that he overtook me lap 17 into 18 so that I could then overtake him 18 into 19. But I didn't because I wasn't paying full attention. So I could still have won this race comfortably if I was just concentrating fully. Because I'd have just tactically done exactly what Lando's just done to me. A bit poor. Again, how not to take corners in. It's so easy to track extend here. And annoyingly, the line comes up a lot earlier now than it used to. The finish line is here now, not where you start the race from. So P2 in the sprint, but we know we could have won that. So I will up it to 104 for the full Grand Prix. And of course, with fresh parts in as well, we were down on power in that race. Even though I started on pole and finished second, I still got driver of the day, so I'll happily take that. Time to go to full qualifying with slightly more competitive components. Oh, Christ. Hello.
And we've been pushed down to P20.
$19.8. Yeah. Full disclosure, I forgot to change the difficulty from 103 to 104 for qualifying. So I'm probably going to get pole here, which is frustrating, but we saw from the racing in the sprint, I didn't run away with it there, so I'm definitely not going to run with it on 104. I might well have still gotten pole at 104, to be fair, but I am slightly annoyed with myself for not remembering to up it to 104 before qualifying. It is what it is. They'd only find about a 10th anyway, and we were 4/10 clear in SQ1, so we almost certainly would have ended up on pole anyway. Q2 to Oscar's just done a 20 flat. I also do a 20 flat. I did make a mistake halfway round that lap and lost the back end towards the end of the first sector, so we obviously know we have a mid to late 19 in us, and we will now hopefully go and replicate that and get ourselves pole in the full Grand Prix. Leclerc 19.5. Hello, Mr. Charlie. That is not going to be a straightforward pole. That says to me that Charles Leclerc made a mistake in SQ3. Either that, but Lando Norris has just done a 19.5 as well. They've stepped their game up. From the sprint to full qualifying, they have stepped their game up. I don't think I'm even going to have a 19 here. A 19.8. It's probably third or fourth? Third. All right. We know we have a 19.5 in us. I just didn't put the lap together this time, which is fair enough. We will now up the difficulty to 104, and I'll remember to do it because well done, Ches. And then we will go for it. But evidently, we are going to have a battle on our hands for a win here in the main Grand Prix. We know what the grid's going to look like, unless anyone's taken any penalties, which they have. Charles Leclerc takes a penalty in the Qatari Grand Prix, and it is me P2. Now, is it a 5-place grid pen? Is it a 10? Is it more than? It's more than a 5. Charles was second. He's now 10th. An 8th place grid penalty. Alonso's taken a pen as well. So I guess technically there is an 8-place because you get a 5-place grid pen for some components and a 3-place grid penalty for others, don't you? So lots of penalties here in Qatar. George Russell all the way down in 19th. That's not great for him. Right, we are going to medium hard. See, now it says... Oh, no, yeah, that's my personalised. My personalised is not as good as the projected, but my personalised is still better with a 1-stop than it is a 2. And if I was to run the hard tyre, sorry, the soft tyre, I'd run the soft tyre at the end. So we will go 1-stop, medium, hard. I'll probably box lap 24 or 25, and hopefully we can get the dub. Fuel was close, so I won't take a massive amount out. But starting from P2, and hopefully going for the win again. We lost positions at the start of the sprint, but we're able to maintain ultimately our overall position. Verstappen's gone backwards a long way. Max, I've got back on the outside, there we go. Max was third on the grid. What happened to Max? Max is now 8th. What happened to... Oh, actually, want to see that? Oh, we missed it. Well, Max Verstappen's start has not gone according to plan. I need to make sure that I stay with Lando here. Obviously, we've now upped the difficulty. So they won't have found a massive amount of time, but they will have found something. And that something might be enough to make this quite the challenge to get the victory, rather than what would have been, if I'd have gone about it the right way in the sprint, a straightforward dub in the shorter race. The undercut might well come in handy as well. I imagine everyone is on a 1-stop.
Lando ahead.
Alright, cool. Have to wait till after the first lap for it to be able to tell me everything. I'm sure Lando's going to be on a 1-stop. I haven't used much battery this lap, which is why it's gotten away from me. We'll still use some now. Close the gap back up. Mr. Norris, come back, please. Thank you. Lewis Hamilton is up in 3rd at the minute in the Mercedes. Stroll's up in 5th. Alonso obviously took a big pen.
DRS now enabled. DRS enabled.
We will gladly use that next lap, thank you. Well, again, weirdly, it's the front 4 that have gotten away. And then there's a big gap back to the rest. Whether that was because of Max's slow start, or whether someone made a move somewhere and it slowed everybody up. Lance is 3 seconds behind now. Maybe he's picked up some front wing damage the same way that Alonso did in the sprint, and he's struggling around the high speed stuff. I don't know. Still under 3 seconds, so I imagine not. But they are battling hard. Lando, if you don't mind, come back, please. Want DRS. Thank you. Got DRS. Lewis will have it behind. I'm not going to use too much battery here, because I've got a gap behind, and I want to still be able to close the gap on Lando a little bit more this next lap to make it a little bit more straightforward for that DRS zone. Piastri is now past Lewis behind, and it's a McLaren 1-3 here in Qatar. I'm sure they would have loved that IRL. If they keep battling, they might make it just a two-way fight for the lead. But whilst they still remain within DRS range, they are going to be a threat. So purple first sector for me. Stroll is falling yet further behind still. So we're not worried about Lance at all at the moment. We are opening up that gap over 3rd and 4th here at the minute. But this is a part of the track where the AI are faster than me, so I imagine they'll close it in. Actually, they haven't, as I've used some battery. Purple first sector, purple second sector. Well within DRS of Lando, and well out of DRS of Oscar Piastri behind. This might be me and Lando battling all the way to the end, and only me and Lando. Sure, at some point I'll make a mistake and get Piastri back into DRS, but that's the fastest lap of the race. I'm quite happy to just sit behind Lando at the minute, provided it keeps everybody behind still out of DRS range. And as Lewis and Oscar battle yet further still, it will help us gap them, and that's why I'm not fighting Lando at the moment. Let's get far enough down the road that we don't have to worry about anyone else, and our sole issue is each other. Long race here in Qatar, 57 laps of a very high speed, high G4 circuit, high tyre wear circuit. So it is going to get more and more difficult as time goes on and the tyres start to wear. We saw that in the sprint. We'll be switching to the hards around about lap 23 or 4. Hoping to get a decent undercut on Lando, who I anticipate, and I can ask now and I will find out, is on also a one-stop strategy. I think everyone is going to be on a one-stop strategy.
They're on fresh mediums. Their tyres are 3 laps old. We think they've got one more stop.
Yeah,
and
it's just the obvious.
Lap, 1:24.2.
It's the obvious strategy to do.
4/10 a lap.
Throw it all away again. Well, Lando had a poor exit, a really poor exit. That's a let-off, a big let-off. I'm not the only one that's feeling the pressure and making the mistakes. Lando doing the same. That might well be us back in DRS range by the time we get to the detection point. Certainly hope so. Looks like it will be. And is. Thank you, Mr. Norris. Still a long way to go in this Grand Prix, but we are back with him. Tyres are really worn though. 30% front left already. Obviously because there's so much more fuel in the car. We're putting so much extra load through the tyres, so they're getting hotter and they're wearing harder and faster. A one-stop is going to be difficult, but it is doable. We've still got another 8 or 9 laps before we're thinking about stopping, really. And we know that almost everybody, if not everybody, is on a one-stop strategy as well as us, so we're all going to be doing the same thing. We're all going to be struggling with the same tyre wear, we're all going to be struggling with the same tyre temperatures on that rear left. So we're all in the same boat. I'd just like to be the number one man at the head of the boat by the end of it. We'll take the lead now. Not the objective, but
about it. Get your head down and chin up, and let's focus on the rest of this race.
now I think it's time to start DRS swapping with Lando to build even more of a gap and give ourselves a decent pit window. If we can build the gap, if you look at the minimap, if we can build the gap at the minute, we'll come out between the back train and the second train. What we need to do is build enough of a gap to come out in front of that second train so that we have clear air when we undercut and box early. That's the current plan. See there, it says we'll come out 17th, which is obviously in between the Hasses. So we need to drive as hard and as fast as we can to build a gap as much as we can to have clear air when we come out of the pits to make the most of the undercut. If I don't have clear air, I won't be able to make the most of the undercut. So we'll get stuck, and that will earn Lando time, especially considering we can't guarantee to have a clean pit stop either with the Ferrari pit crew, with the way that they have been the past couple of races. And that is Lewis Hamilton retiring from the race. His engine has gone bang from right behind Oscar Piastri. I'm not even going to fight this with Lando. He can just comfortably take the lead. Piastri's now no longer going to be fighting with anyone, so that's going to be Piastri free air churning in the lap times. But yeah, Lewis's engine has decided it's had enough around here, and it's given up. No VSC or full safety car for that necessary at all. He's well off the racing line by a marshal's post. Could be covered with just a yellow or a double waved yellow. It was Russell that retired in the first one. It's Lewis that retires in the second. Mercedes not having a very good Grand Prix weekend here. No, he's not. But the gap to Oscar grow. 7.1 to 7.8 down the straight alone. 7.9, 8 seconds. DRS and ERS down that straight is worth a full second on Oscar Piastri now, which is why we've been swapping it with Lando the way that we have. Working with him here to guarantee that we have a decent finish. Obviously, it's not ideal for McLaren because they want Piastri to close up, but I have the pace to basically toy with Lando as I want to. It took ages to reel him back in when we first lost DRS. And we might not have done it for another 3 or 4 laps if he hadn't made his one mistake that allowed me to close the gap again. But he did, and we have, and we will be boxing maybe even next lap. Might box 23 or 24. Just let Lando through here, and we'll open the gap a bit more. I'll move off the racing line so he doesn't get held up. Working together to get the job done. Insert all your Bob the Builder memes. What does it say? 10th. There you go. We will now come out in front of the traffic. We have our pit window. Lovely! That's what we were waiting for. Another poor exit from Lando there. Struggling with his tyres. I'll box 23. I'll box 23. I know my wear on the hard tyre is decent. I just don't know if my pace on the hard tyre is decent. I want DRS one more time. I'll box 24. Or do I want to deny Lando the DRS next lap? Probably. I'll box this lap.
Right, let's have you in at the end of this lap, please.
Operation Undercut is underway. Here we go. Now, don't mess this up, Ferrari, please. And before Ferrari mess this up. Ready, steady. They're going to get it wrong. Unbelievable, Jeff!
Perfect job on the turn in there, mate.
That's us to the end.
Stop time. We're happy with that one.
We should be well positioned between Alonso and Russell, hopefully. Russell might get me here, but as long as we're in front of the big train,
pit strategy
that's all that matters. And we will be in front of the big train. Wunderbar. That has gone to perfection. Because Russell will have enough pace to not hold me up too much this lap.
Okay,
we'll get DRS off the back of him. You could just see, you physically see the difference in the tyre wear around the high speed. I'm not expecting the others in until lap 26.
Right, the gap to the teammate ahead of us, 7.9 seconds. Yeah, really good job on hitting that target, mate. Nice work. Still a long way to go, though.
So we should have another 2 laps worth of undercut to try and put together and then maintain once everyone's out of the box. Purple first sector, purple second sector. This should be a new fastest lap of the race. Whether we hold it to the end of the race, I don't know actually. With us doing the undercut, another driver's going to be having much quicker tyres than us later in the race.
4.1 seconds.
Someone might even decide to throw on a set of softs at the end. We don't know if we'll get a safety car or anything. If we do, we will be pretty knackered because we've only got a set of new softs that have got maybe 7 or 8 laps in them left. So unless there's a safety car, if the safety car comes pre-lap 48, we will definitely be staying on the hard tyre. So I've only got that one set of used mediums that we just took off to go back on again. And I'm expecting Lando in this lap. If they want to pit Piastri first, I'll be delighted. Lando is not in this lap. Does Piastri box? No, the McLarens keep going. They really are extending this first. I'm expecting some in this lap. This was the lap that it said was the default, but people plough on. Charles Leclerc is the lead group of the set in front now. Rephrase. Now it's Lance Stroll. Battling for currently P3. But they should, like, obviously we're closing on them. They should get out of the way before we get to them. So we won't get holed up at all. The longer this undercut continues, the further ahead we'll come out in front of Lando after he stops. I'm really surprised they haven't stopped on 26. Less than 2 seconds, the gap in front now. Surely Lando boxes this lap. Look at the track chest, not the minimap. Yeah, Lando in, there we go. Okay. Now what gap will we have over Lando when we come out, when he comes out the box? We might not have that big a gap, but I think we've been putting in decent lap times. That whole group, they're all in. Like 6 cars in together there. That's Lando Norris behind us now. I'm going to burn my battery here to try and make this gap as big as I possibly can. And it is sizable. He's come out behind George Russell. 7 seconds to Lando. That's what the undercut was worth. Because we boxed behind him. He was in first. We dipped. And we've opened up the gap to 7.5 seconds by pitting so early. It does mean that he will have fresher tyres at the end of the race, which will bring him back towards me. But right now we are sitting very pretty, minus any safety cars, for a particularly lovely, simply lovely Qatari Grand Prix victory. Piastri now in the box a lap later. Stroll will be as well. We're not going to go any longer than 28. Here you go, Stroll's in the box too. This is the lead of the race back again. George Russell should be in now, and indeed is. So myself to Lando is first and second once more, but the gap is rather more sizable than it used to be previously. Used softs? We saved a set of softs from quali. Oh, I didn't use the Q3 set in quali, did I? I used the Q2 set. I'm a moron. I don't have a fresh set of softs left available at the end of the race. I used the wrong set in Q3. So now we definitely don't want a safety car because I have no new sets left to go to. I just want to chill for the next 28 laps or so. And from this highlight, go to the checkered flag. Otherwise, it might go wrong. Charles and Lance are fighting very hard for that 4th spot right now. They've got Yuki Tsunoda just loitering behind them too, waiting if either of them makes a mistake. If they stopped battling and worked with each other the same way that Lando and I did in our first stint, then they'd pull away from the RB, but they're too busy scrapping. It's just going to cost them both a heap of time at this time of the race. Not that really either of them in free air to stand a chance of closing down the 9 seconds to Oscar at the minute. And speaking of 9 seconds, that's about what we have on Lando right now. The gap is growing. Slowly, but growing. We are beyond comfortable right now. It is track specific. Obviously, we were at 104 in Las Vegas and got lucky to get the win there, as we did, to be fair, the year before. We're 104 here, and it was only with a good undercut that we've been able to pull this off. I don't think if I went up to 105, I'd be competitive enough. We'll see what 104 is like in Abu Dhabi, because we know that last year we were a little bit fortuitous to get the podium there as well, with a late safety car, I think. And then we put soft tyres on and we're trying to chase down Max Verstappen, if memory serves. I might be wrong. So we'll see what 104 is like at Abu Dhabi before we... And I'm definitely not going to be at 105 again for Bahrain next season, that's for sure, because Bahrain is brutal. I'm really intrigued to see what teams come in for me in the off-season. We may end up staying at Ferrari. if Mercedes, McLaren, Aston Martin or Red Bull don't come in for us, I'll probably stay at Ferrari. But I'm sure one of those four will come in for us. They have to, surely. And it'd be nice to drive a different car.
Gap to your teammate behind, 25.
And have the opportunity to go for a World Drivers' Championship with somebody else. We're going to get the Constructors this year. I think we might have already won the Constructors this year with Ferrari. It is a risk though, obviously, because when we left left Haas to join Ferrari season 1 to 2, they hadn't protected with the upgrades very well at all, and basically the aero on the car, or was it the chassis? Aero or chassis on the car, might even have been both, was just really, really poor. And it took ages for us to work hard and get the car back to a competitive state. It was really rewarding once we'd done so, though, and found ourselves winning races and challenging for podiums. We might face that same challenge again somewhere else in Season 4. So we might move to, say, McLaren, we might move to, say, Red Bull or Mercedes and have to work hard to get the car competitive again. I'm very much anticipating and expecting this Ferrari to be ridiculously quick at the beginning of Season 4 with whoever's in this second seat and Charles, because obviously we've fully protected against the upgrades that are coming. So we're going to have a hell of a job to try and close down the Scuderia next season. But it's a challenge that I think you guys want to see, isn't it? So it's a challenge we shall take. If it's a challenge that seems like it's pretty fruitless, then we'll start the My Team. But initially, it's a challenge we're going to take on. Let me know in the comment section if you had to vote right now as to whether I went to McLaren, Mercedes, Aston Martin or Red Bull, which would be the team that you think you'd like me to go to. I'd be very curious to know, and for those of you here in live chat as well, which way would you vote if you had to vote now? Bear in mind, last year we did a driver career at Aston, and the year before on F122, we did a driver career at McLaren, albeit only for one season at the very end of the cycle. Whether that would sway your vote at all, I don't know. You might still want to see me in a McLaren or an Aston, but I'd be very intrigued to know which way you'd vote. 22 laps to go. Yeah, Lando's tyres are slightly better than mine right now. But only slightly. His will hit the same drop-off that mine are at now, soon. Yep, that happened. Lando will close the gap now. My 10-second gap. Somehow I only lost 2 seconds with that. Okay. Right, concentrate, Ches, eh? Oh, Charles! He's taken that by some margin as well. That was a 22 flat from Charles. That's a very quick lap at this stage of the race on tyres that worn. Big helping hand from DRS, one thinks, and he must have saved his battery up as well for a couple of laps to have a proper charge at Lance Stroll. They're still battling very hard for that 4th spot and still right with each other, and then there's a train of 3 behind that. Yuki, unfortunately for him, has fallen away a little bit now. I think Yuki might be even behind. Is that a Red Bull in there? It is. Yuki's dropped all the way down to 9th from 6th, unfortunately for him, but he's still having a solid race. Gasly trying to catch from more than a single point, and then Ollie Behrman in the next Rebel is a long way back in P11, so the top 10 will be the top 10, but in what order we still yet don't know. I can't believe Charles did a 22 flat. I've just done a 23 flat to the millisecond. I do love it when that happens. Well, that means that Charles Leclerc was a second a lap faster than me last time round. If he does that for the rest of the race, certainly if Lando did that for the rest of the race, he'd win. Come on, give me that fastest lap. I want the extra point. Yes!
Good job, that was the fastest lap of the race so far.
Thanks! Thank you, Zhou Guanyu, for the DRS, because that was the only reason I was able to get that. And that was
to your teammate behind,
a full second,
13.2 seconds.
a full second faster than George Russell's previous fastest lap. Well, 9/10. I think there was a 22.5. I've just done a 21.6. Nobody will beat that before the end. We will be getting 26 points here. Thank you very much. We might catch this trio before the end, you know. In fact, we should do. With still 3 laps to go when we cross the line. Fighting over the minor places, but fighting nonetheless. And it is now a 5-way fight for a podium. 5-way fight that Lance Stroll is winning. We'll see if they do actually fight or just sit in that DRS train, which is what I think might happen. Oh, I've just lost all audio. At least it's done it on lap 55 of 57, not lap 5 of 57. Apologies, guys. There is going to be no race audio for the rest of this Grand Prix, so by all means, feel free to sit there at home and make your own noises. But there is going to be no noises for the rest of this Grand Prix. I've got DRS again. I could go for another fastest lap here, although I'm going to have even more cars to overtake. Are you going to let me through, Teo? Fine. I'll do it the hard way. Actually, there was a way to try and get it back, wasn't there? But I can't remember what it was. That way. We have audio again! We fixed it. Look at me going, me big old clever brain. I've lost a whole second to Lando with not having any audio, not hearing what I'm doing. Oh, it's gone again. What are you doing, game? Stop it! Give me my audio back again. Oh, really? It was there and then it's gone again. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. I believe in you. Hey! When's it going to cut out again? Unfortunately for Porsche, I've caught... Oh no, am I going to catch Esteban Ocon? Oh no, me audio! Final lap begins then. I can't be bothered to fix it again. It will just break 10 seconds later. With the DRS on the back of the Haas, Esteban Ocon actually got himself out of blue flag range there, but now we're back in blue flag range. On our final lap, Lando's kept us honest all race long, really. And he's still closing in these latter stages, obviously, as we have the issues with audio, but we have had to drive at 100% for the whole race to ensure that he stays behind. Go on, Charles. On the final lap, Charles Leclerc back into podium position in P3. Good man. Right, that should be then a double Ferrari podium rather than what would have been a double McLaren podium. Although Stroll's just taken it back again. Charlie! Thank you, Esteban. No, Charles has taken it back once more. Well done, Charlie. It would have been a double McLaren podium if it weren't for Oscar Piastri's engine going pop. But who knows where Lewis Hamilton might have finished if his engine hadn't also gone pop. He was in the fight, wasn't he, for a decent finish. We're running low on fuel, but we've got enough to get us to the line. It is going to be, for the second season in a row, a Las Vegas victory, followed by a Qatari Grand Prix victory. I just put a new race audio thing on, but can't hear it. Win! 25 points, 26 points. No one got my fastest lap, did they? George Russell gets driver of the day. We'll wait and see who actually took that third place in the end. I hope it was Charles Leclerc. It was a podium pass. Charlie! Well, actually, was it? Yes, 15 points, because it combines the points tally total, doesn't it? So it was, in the end, a dub for me. Result in the race was me, Lando, Leclerc, Stroll, Russell, who went P19 to P5. Very much deserved driver of the day there, although P10 to the podium is decent for Charlie too. They were all within 9/10 of each other. 3rd to 7th within 9/10. 8th and 9th was a 3-second gap. And then there was some trains further back and a few that were a lap down and some that didn't even finish. That's just the nature of the AI on F124, hopefully. Oh, Max Verstappen's my driver rival, is he? Oh, good. Yeah, my championship rival. I'm not going to catch him with one race to go, am I? So we might, by the end of the season, be able to get ourselves to be 88 rated. We're closing in on that extra little tick there for the rating. I'd love to do that. That'd be a great way to end the season. An even better way to end the season will be a win in Abu Dhabi. We only got P2 last season. But we'll try our best. Obviously, we don't anticipate any rain in Abu Dhabi, just as we didn't anticipate any rain in Qatar, just as we didn't anticipate any rain in Las Vegas, but there was rain in Las Vegas ultimately. So my championship rival is Max. It's given me a new rival, Max Verstappen. And guess what? I cannot win that championship battle because I am 28 points behind and there are 26 points available. So thanks for giving me a new rival that's literally unwinnable. Tar achieved 341 points to win, counting some of next season there, I think, is that rivalry. I should hopefully be able to match Checo by the end of the season. I'm hopefully going to get myself to be McLaren improved there. No, look, we're all Red Bull are just behind, but we're all right with each other. Right, I'll put my more worn parts in for practice in Abu Dhabi, and then we will stay on 104 for Abu Dhabi then, and we will race at Abu Dhabi at 104 and see how things go. But very much anticipating challenging for a podium again in Abu Dhabi if we can. And then you guys will get the decision, the vote, as to where we move for Season 4. There is a little bit of rain. Oh my God. A little bit of rain in third practice. Unbelievable. Hopefully when we reload the game, next time we come to do a recording session, that rain doesn't move itself from the Saturday morning to the Sunday afternoon. But in the Drivers' Championship, I can't catch Lando. I can't catch Max. We will finish 5th in the Drivers. First will be first. There is still a big battle with the three of them for second, though, so there is certainly a lot to fight for there. Constructors' Championship was won a long time ago. Second is second. Third is third. Fourth is probably fourth. Fifth is probably fifth. Sixth is sixth. 7th, 8th and 9th is up for grabs if Alpine or RB can have a decent Abu Dhabi, but probably the Constructors' Championship is as it will be, you would imagine. But there's still a lot to fight for some of the places, the podium places in the Drivers' Championship. That's all for us, though, for this round of the championship. Thank you very much for watching. Do join me for the season finale next time out. And, of course, you will then have your opportunity to vote on where we go next after that. That's all for me for now, though. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.